Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Make sure you guys are like, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. We're just gonna jump right into the video. I'm not gonna tell you guys, but make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up right now. Okay guys, I was about 17 years old. I moved out from my mom's house and moved in with my godmother. Now, my godmama, we're gonna give her the name Peaches. My godmama stayed in like the hooded area where it's like where the turn up be at. You feel me? Like where the hood be at, that's where the turn up be at. So she stayed there. And I used to never come outside. I just was chilling. I had just had a baby like a year ago. I was chilling all the time, always in the house, always watching TV, just finding something to do around the house, just chilling with her. So one day she was like, I'm finna go out tonight, but you need to find you some friends. And I was like, why? She was like, cause you too young to be sitting in the house just letting life just pass you by. So I was like, all right. She was like, I know a nice girl that used to live with me back in the day, and she's around your age, and she stays right around the corner. She was like, I'm gonna have her come over tomorrow and y'all meet and just see how you like her. And I was like, okay. So she called the girl over. The next day come, and the girl agreed to come over. So she came over, and me and the girl instantly clicked. Like she was me and I was her. And we eventually just started hanging out, and she would come to my house all the time, and then I eventually started coming to her house all the time. So we chilling. So this one particular day, we all sitting on the porch, just chilling, playing cards, listening to music, just talking shit, just normal teenage shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm 17 years old. I think she was just like a little bit older than me. Maybe she was like 19. Yeah, I think she was like 19 or something, around that age. And her mom used to always be gone. Her mom worked long shifts, so she would always have the house to herself. So we would always be over there just chilling. So this one particular day, it was some new neighbors that were moving across the street. And this one guy stood out to me, and we're gonna give him the name Josh. Okay, so Josh was like 5'7", built, my color. He was fine, y'all. So I noticed Josh that day, and I was like, man, he look good. You know what I'm saying? Homegirl was like, yeah, he do look good. He do look good, girl. I was like, no, he's mine. You know how we do as girls. No, he's mine, or whatever. And she was like, yeah, but you ain't gonna say nothing to him. And I was like, just give it time, give it time. So as the days would go by, I'll wear some little skimpy stuff, like little shorts, a little short top, trying to catch his attention. He would say hi and stuff like that, but never nothing like, out of the ordinary. He'd just always be like, hey, whatever. So this one particular day, he was playing kickball, and the ball went over there in his yard. So the boy was like, I'm finna go get the ball. So I was like, no, I got it. I'll go over there. So I feel like that was an opportunity for me to go over there and say something to the boy. So y'all, I go over there and get the ball. I was like, oh, my bad. We need to get the ball, whatever. And he was like, oh, I got it for you. So he went and got the ball and gave it back to me. He was like, why don't you give me your number? You know what I'm saying? So we can hang out sometime. And I was like, all right, cool. So I get back to the house, and I get them back their ball. And I was like, girl, I got his number, come in the house. So she was like, okay. So I came in the house. She came in the house, and she was like, what happened? I said, girl, I got his number, girl. He said, go call me. So 2-3 days go by. He didn't call me right away. He waited like a couple days, and he called me, y'all. So when he called me, I'm like, hello. He like, yeah, what's up? You want to go hang out tonight? And I was like, yeah, I'll hang out. He was like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 17 years old. And he was like, okay. He was like, well, I'm 23. He was like, but you grown, you done had a baby, you don't live with your parents and stuff, nothing like that. You out here on your own. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, let's hang out tonight. So I was like, all right, cool. So he come pick me up, y'all, and we had a good time. We had a good time. We went to the park, we talked, we bonded, everything was everything. And then it turned into a routine. Fast forward. It turned into a routine, and every night we'll go somewhere, he'll come to my house and we'll chill. So now I feel like we in a full-blown relationship. So it came upon a time where we went out and we partied and we chilled, but this night was different. You know what I'm saying? So, long story short, we whoop, whoop, whoop. You feel me? And after we did that, I felt like, this is my man now. What is he, you're my man now. So me and him talked, and he was like, yeah, we together now, I like you, I like your vibe, we cool, you straight or whatever. So he was like, I'm gonna take care of you or whatever. He was like, you and the baby, I'm gonna take care of y'all. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm all in love with him. I'm like, oh my God, he's so fine. We whoop, 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 and we hanging out. And I'm just thinking, like, this is the vibes. So later on, a few weeks go by, everything is the same thing. I mean, everything is everything. We doing the same thing. We hanging out, we vibing. So one day he called me and he like, hey, he was like, I want to do this little trucking thing. I want to get my CDLs or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I was like, that'd be a good thing to do. And he was like, yeah, because I'm going to take care of you and the baby. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to call you back. He was so excited to tell me this news. So he called me back and he was like, oh, I got into the school. He was like, but the only thing about it is the school is in Tampa. So I was like, okay. He was like, I got to go away for like 4 weeks. He was like, but I want you to come along with me. So I was like, all right then. He was like, but the only thing about it is that I want you to pay for your own ticket. So I'm like, okay, and that should have been red flag number one. He was like, I want you to pay for your own ticket. So I was like, all right, I'll pay for my own ticket. I wasn't working or nothing, y'all. So what I did was pawn some things and I got enough money to go on the trip. And I called him. I said, hey, I got the money to go on the trip. Everything's straight. And he was like, okay, so once you get off the bus, because I took the bus to Tampa from Florida. And he's like, once you get off the bus, he was like, give me a call from this number. Just find a payphone when you get off the bus and give me a call, because I didn't have a cell phone at the time, y'all. So he was like, give me a call when you get off the bus and I'll come pick you up. So I give him a call. He comes pick me up. And we go back to this beautiful room. It was real nice. I was supposed to stay there for 6 days, I think it was. 5 or 6 days, something like around that area. I was supposed to stay for like 5 or 6 days. So day number one went it was real fun. We hung out. It was just real fun. We did what we did. And then day two was just a little bit different because it was like we hung out, we went and ate lunch, and then I was like, let's get in the pool because they had an indoor pool and I wanted to get in the pool. So I was like, let's get in the pool. So we get in the pool. Everything was fun. We chilling. He laying it on thick. Oh, you the only one. You see how I got you out here, this and this and that. So then his phone started ringing, y'all. Phone started ringing. And I was like, you're not going to get that? And he was like, no, why would I get that? I'm chilling with you. Like, I don't want to, how do you say it? I don't want to interrupt this moment. So, I'm like, okay, you know what? That's real. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Basically. So, we go back to the room. And we chilling, and the room phone started ringing, y'all. So I'm like, nigga, answer the phone. And he like, nah, I don't want to answer the phone because there's trouble. And I'm like, who is that? He was like, man, I'm not answering that. So the phone just kept ringing. I was like, you don't answer, I'm gonna answer. So he picked up the phone. I tried to snatch the phone, and he snatched it from me. He was like, hello. And I could hear this lady like screaming at him from the other side of the phone. She's so loud. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe that's his mama or something, you know what I'm saying? Because he never told me he was in a relationship with anybody. He never told me nothing about nothing. It was always supposed to be me. So, and he told me he was only 23 years old. Yeah, he told me he was 23 years old. So, I'm like, okay. So he hang up the phone. And he's like, oh, you got to get your stuff. You got to go right now. And I'm like, go where? He was like, we finna get you another ticket. You got to go back to Florida. So I'm like, why do I have to go back to Florida? And he was like, because, man, I got to tell you something, but I can't tell you right now. He's like, get your stuff and let's go back to the bus station. I'm like, no, I'm not going nowhere till you tell me. He was like, man, pack your stuff. I'm going to tell you on the way. So I packed my stuff. He driving to the place. He's silent. He gonna say nothing. So we get to the bus station, and I was like, listen, what's going on? He was like, man, I have to handle something, you know, I got some shit going on. I didn't tell you, but I have a baby mama. So I'm like, you got a baby mama? He was like, yeah, I got a baby mama. She actually paid for this trip. She's on her way here. She said she's gonna touch down in an hour. I'm gonna need you to go back to Florida till I handle this. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, why did you lie to me? And he was like, man, I'm gonna talk to you later. He kissed me on my forehead, and I got on the bus. And y'all, I cried the whole way back to Florida. Get back to Florida. I didn't hear from this man for like 2-3 weeks. So he continued out the rest of his training, I guess, with her up there, and he didn't call me anything. So like 3 weeks go by. He calls me and he's like, hey, you know, let's meet up and let's talk. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we meet up, and he's like, oh, I have a baby mama. I didn't know how to tell you. We're not together. We're always fighting. She don't know how to take care of herself. I'm basically taking care of her and the baby. I don't know how to get out of this situation, but it's gonna be dealt with soon. Just don't worry about it. You are who I want to be with. So I'm young. I'm believing everything he's saying. So I continue out the relationship with this man. So me and him start going out, hanging out, just like how we was, you know, doing our thing or whatever. One night he called me. He's like, oh, let's go to a club. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go to the club tonight, you know, okay, cool. So we go to this club, and I'm 17 years old. I have no ID. He was like, don't worry about it. You could get it. I can get you in this club. So we get in this club. When I get in this club, you could tell it's like 40 and up. Like, it was an older club. It was called Snoop's Bar. It was like an old school club. If you live in Florida, back in them days, you know what I'm talking about. But it was an old school club he took me to. And it was cool though, but we had fun, and we ended up leaving there and going to City Place. And by the time we get to City Place, he is drunk as shit, y'all. He is drunk as shit. So I noticed that he was slurring. I noticed that he was just like off his game. So I was like, you know, take me home. I was like, you know what? Just take me to my mama's house. Don't even take me to my godmama house. Just take me to my mama's house. So he was like, okay, I'll take you to your mama's house. So he's speeding down the road, and it was like these little speed bumps in the road, y'all. He hit a fucking dog. He kept going over the speed bump so fast, and he hit a dog that was walking across the street. It was a big ass dog. Y'all, that was so, ooh, that just gave me the heebie-jeebies when he did that, and I couldn't get over it. I kept thinking about it for months, y'all. Even after I was done with this man, I was thinking about it. Even thinking about it right now got me like, ooh. But he hit this dog, and he kept going. So I think that when he hit the dog and he kept going, it threw me off. So he dropped me off at my house that night, and the next day come, I get a knock at the door. So my mama goes to the door, and she's like, who in the hell is knocking at my door at this time of morning? It was like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So my mom was like, Shay, come here. And I was like, what's up? She was like, this lady at the door telling me that you been messing with her husband, and you left your book bag in her car with your ID. That's how she knew where we stay at. And I was like, I don't know nobody. I don't mess with nobody's husband. I don't know what she's talking about. So I come outside, and the lady was like, is this your book bag? It was back in the day, y'all. I know y'all remember these book bag purses that was in style. I had all colors, and this one was a leather one with like rainbow butterflies on it. And I used to wear it to death. And I had wore it that night when I went out with him, and I was so thrown off about him hitting the damn dog that I had forgot my purse in his car. So the lady bringing me back my purse, and I was just shocked. She was like, yeah. She was like, whoever purse this is messing with my husband. Because I had let my husband hold my car last night. He had my car out all night. And then he come back early in the morning, drunk all up, and I found this purse in my car, so I want to know who purse is this. And I was like, that's my purse. And she was like, sweetheart, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 17. And she was like, you're 17? She was like, do you know that this man is 28 years old with a family? He's married. And I was like, no, I didn't know any of that. She was like, yeah, I be seeing you across the street all the time. And I was like, I've never seen you before, you know? And she was like, how you ain't never seen me? I think I said that out of fear, but I did see her like periodically, like not all the time. You wouldn't think she stayed there. You see her, you would think that's either his mama coming in and out, or like his auntie or something like that coming in and out, dropping the baby off and stuff like that, because she would be in and out. So I was like, I ain't never seen you, you know, because I was scared. I didn't know, this a grown ass lady. I didn't know what to say, but I did see her, but I didn't know. And she was like, this is sad. She was like, this man been doing this to me for a long time. She said, you're not the only one. She said, what's so sad about this situation is that you a kid. She was like, this is the lowest he's ever done is with a child. And so I told her I won't mess with him. I was like, I'm gonna leave him alone. I don't want him no more. I was like, I didn't know, you know, whatever. So she stayed outside and talked to my mama. So my mama came back in the house, and she was like, you can't mess with that man no more. That's a grown ass man, and he's married to that lady, and he has a family and everything. You can't mess with him no more. So I stopped messing with him. I didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks, because I told him, I said, I'm done, you know, you lied to me, you're married and all this other stuff. And I just cut him off. I stopped talking to him and everything, but he kept calling my phone, but I wouldn't answer. So I think it was like maybe a month after that situation had happened, I had went on with my life. I'll think about him every now and again, but it wasn't that deep to where I wanted to call him. So one day I woke up, I was just throwing up. I hadn't got so sick, y'all, to where I had went to the hospital just to go see what the hell was wrong with me. When I went to the hospital, y'all, when I tell you, them people came back and told me that I was pregnant. And people said, you are 2 months pregnant. And I was like, are you serious? They was like, yes, you are 2 months pregnant. So I called them and I told them, I said, hey, I'm pregnant. I went to the hospital. I wasn't feeling well, and they told me I'm pregnant. And he was like, by who? And I was like, what you mean by who? He was like, well, it ain't my baby. And he on the phone. So y'all, I had to pick my face up off the floor and figure something out. I was like, I just gotta figure something out, because he ain't claiming his baby, and he don't want to, you know, basically he don't want to be here. So he called me the next day, and he was like, I'm sorry I did that. He was like, one thing about it, I know that's my baby, because you was always with me. He was like, listen, I'm married. I don't want no children. He's like, I know you don't want no baby. You just had a baby. Just putting all this stuff in my head and, you know, whatever. And I was like, you know what, you right. I don't want no child. He was like, okay, so call this abortion clinic and see what's up. And I was like, all right. So I called the abortion clinic, and they were like, yeah, we can get you in, but we need $500 or $600. And I'm like, all right. So I call him, and I'm like, hey, I need $500 or $600 for the procedure. He's like, oh no, I can't afford that. I don't know what you gonna do. My wife ain't going for none of this, and this and that. Now it's my wife ain't going for none of this. Like, niggas are true. But he was like, yeah, my wife ain't going for none of this. So I was like, all right. So I told my mom, and we came up with this agency that was paying for abortion, but you had to qualify. Like, you had to make under a certain amount to qualify to get these abortions or whatever. And you know, I was a kid, I wasn't even working. So I qualified to get the abortion, and they ended up paying for the whole procedure for me. And that's how I got my abortion. And I called him after I had the abortion, and he didn't come up there with me, y'all. He didn't support me or nothing like that. He just wanted to know if it was done or not. And after that happened, y'all, I never seen him ever again. But that was my story, guys. If you guys want a part two, make sure you guys leave a comment down below and I'll bring you guys a part two. But that was my story. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, I'm going to always be back to take you guys on another ride. Please.